Easy Freedom exhibition. You can see a variety of paintings focusing on landscape, pyramid paintings, totems or planks. I call them heads or portraits, and the early text-based paintings. In the early 2000s, I did text-based paintings, and the use of the text was to bring the audience in, the viewer in, so they could search for names and things the audience could identify with. So it was a way of capturing an audience and bringing them in. Because I first started showing, and no one knew who I was. So I figured the way to capture the audience would be for them to self-identify with the text. Looking at contemporary art in New York at that time, I noticed that the street vernacular, hip-hop, subcultures were kind of hidden. So I thought to bring that to the traditional gallery scene. So, for example, you have a like kind of posh gallery with things that aren't considered posh. So you have subculture and high culture coming together. Well, around 2010, I started making landscapes as a way to kind of travel to tropical locations without leaving Brooklyn, right? So also it was a new addition to the work. So, I just thought of them as kind of ways to leave in my mind. I guess that was why. And a way to have decorative art as part of what I do, to add a kind of decorative element and broaden the scope of what I make. I kind of gravitate to tropical elements, although I live in Brooklyn and I never get to go. But the ideal situation in the landscape to me seems to be tropical. A lot like Málaga, right? Palm trees are good, swimming is good, the ocean is good. So the idea of having, the open water with some island formation or land formation. Big sky. Formally, this painting is about tension and less about landscape, more about building a fake, imaginary. This is more inventive. These tend to be more kind of real representation. So this was kind of inventing my own island. And then on the sides, there's little characters. I don't know why I did that. Color for me is a tool, I guess, to be in. It tends to be intense and bright. I think, I don't know why, but if there's a problem in the painting for me, I always add another color. I think a lot of artists maybe use 2 or 3 colors. I don't know how to do that. For some reason, more is better. Kind of like eating dessert, more is better, right? I like things to pop. I like a lot of heat in a painting, to be noticed. Always to bring the viewer in. Whether it's good or not, who knows? But it's harmless anyways, right? So I grew up in an area of Texas where the colors were very bright. It's very close to Mexico, so I think that has a big kind of influence on me. The big bright skies of Texas. very hot and intense. And I think that just carried over into my painting. I mean, the way I come up with characters or the figures in these paintings, there's a lot of different ways. In this particular painting, it was based off of Picasso painting. So I take the Picasso that I think is really great and I think about how to update it for right now without really hanging on to the Picasso or to the image. And so I find a picture, maybe a JPEG off the internet or whatever, and for some reason it speaks to me, maybe just how it is formally, and then I project it using a projector, outline, and then rebuild it with the knowledge of the stuff that I have in all the other work. So this whole wall is kind of a use of everything in here coming together in one painting for me. You have the landscape, you have things from the totems, elements from the pyramids, all kind of coming together in a big picture, representing, for me, the modern day human condition. What it's like to be a human right now, maybe. And also trying to entertain an audience and have something to look at endlessly and to challenge myself. On this wall we have a row of pyramid paintings. They tend to all have titles, so they're self-titles. And again, a way to draw the viewer in. Kind of nice pop reference, something that has an open meaning. And the thing I like about the pyramid is that it creates its own hierarchy, right? There's always a bottom and a top. It doesn't matter for me what ends up at the top. And in these I use collage elements to offset and to kind of add a different language with the cartoon element. So instead of being cartoon, we have more realistic representation, different forms of illustration and photography kind of combined together from vintage magazines, usually from the 70s and 80s.
It's a difficult question.
Yeah, it is. Which one's first? Kind of like this one a lot.
The keeper?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's new to me. This painting, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I don't understand it the most. There's some new things for me that are the bricks, these kind of tears. Yeah, this painting to me is like the one that I find the most compelling, just in terms of how it was made. It's kind of recent.